Hey, what's up guys, Crying here. So for today, we're gonna talk about a very interesting multicolored security control deck. So let's start with our Digitama. We have the 4 copies of Digimon. So Digimon is here because first, I want a red Digitama since most of my option cards here are gonna be red cards. And second, I really like the extra plus 1000 DP boost whenever my opponent has 5 or more cards on his trash pad. So I think Digimon is the better choice right now for this kind of build if I want a red Digitama. Okay, moving on to our rookies, we have the 2 copies of the ST7 Gilmon. So what this Gilmon does is whenever our opponent has a level 6 or higher Digimon, we can Digivolve Gilmon into a Gallantmon. So I do have a couple of Gallantmons on this deck list. So having this Gilmon warp Digivolving into a Gallantmon is a really good card in terms of finishing your opponent, especially if you're against a purple kind of deck. Okay, moving on to our next rookies, we have the 2 copies of Lucimon. So Lucimon is here because I do want additional recovery effects for this kind of archetype, as well as whenever we have Magnadramon on the field and we attack with Magnadramon, we can freely play our Lucimon. So Lucimon is here just to prolong the game and extend our lives with his recoveries. Okay, now we're done with our rookies. We're going to move on now to our level 4s. So if you notice, I only have a Gilmon as my regular rookie for this kind of deck, because the security control deck actually is kind of like a Mega Zoo deck wherein you want to hard play everything from your hand, as well as I only added Gilmon just in case I'm against like a Buildstormon deck, so that I can warp Digivolve him into a Gallantmon and then maybe finish the game. So okay, moving back to our level 4s, we have the 4 copies of the Geogreymon from ST7 as well. So what Geogreymon does is, first, whenever this gets security check, we can play him without paying his memory cost. And then second, his on-play effect is that we can delete one of our opponent's Digimon with 4k DP or less. So if our opponent has multiple rookies and he attacks with one of his rookies and we security check a Geogreymon, it's like a 2-for-1. It's like a 2-for-1 card because we can first destroy the battled rookie, and then his on-play effect is we can delete one of the 4k or DP or less Digimons on the field, which is most probably most of the rookies' DP. Okay, moving on to our next level 4s, we have a blue one. We got the ST8 blue Cordramon. So what the blue Cordramon does is, whenever this gets security check, again, we can play this without paying his memory cost. And then his on-play trigger is that we can draw 2 cards. So Cordramon is not only good as a security card, but as well as if ever we do draw a Cordramon, we can just hard play him and then we draw 2 cards. This kind of deck doesn't really conventionally digivolves you into your level 3, level 4, level 5, and so on. So we are kind of lacking on draw power for this kind of deck list. So Cordramon does a really good job on just filling out those kind of weaknesses for this security deck list. Okay, now we're moving on to our level 5s. First, we have the 4 copies of Magna Angemon. Actually, this is the only level 5s on this deck list. So what Magna Angemon does is, whenever we play him, just like Lucimon, we can recover 1. So Magna Angemon, as I've said, just like Lucimon, he's here just to extend our lives, and then maybe we can recover one of our better security cards like Cordramon or Geogreymon, or even maybe an Omnimon's War Defeat. So Magna Angemon is here just to extend our recoveries. Okay, now we're moving on to our level 6s. We have a lot of level 6s here. First, we have the 4 copies of Magnadramon. So what Magnadramon does is, whenever we hard play Magnadramon, if our security count is 3 or less, we recover 2. So again, we are recovering here so that we can extend our lives. And as a bonus, whenever Magnadramon attacks, we can play a level 3 yellow Digimon from our hand without paying his memory cost. So Magnadramon is a really good combo with our Lucimon because we can play Lucimon without paying his memory cost for free, and we get to recover +1. So next on our level 6s, we have a black Digimon, so we have 2 copies of Machine Dramon. Machine Dramon is here because first, he's a really good on-play effect, which is we get to digivolve to one of our opponent's Digimon, and then he is a blocker. So we have tons of recoveries on this deck list, but sometimes we do need a blocker, and Machine Dramon does a really good job on that. Secondly, there are some Digimons just like Craniamon wherein we can use Gaia Force, or we just can't straight up delete Craniamon. So the Digivolving is another good option as an answer for those Craniamon decks. Another thing is we do have Omnimon's Wart Defeat on this deck list. So there are times wherein we would be able to draw our Zwart Defeat, and we wouldn't want to hard cast him because he doesn't have any on-play effects and he costs 15. So we just hard play Machine Dramon, and maybe next turn we can digivolve him into an Omnimon Zwart Defeat. Okay, next on our level 6s, we have the 2 copies of the Dupmon or Gallantmon in English from BTO2. So what this Gallantmon does is that if we have a red Tamer, we can delete one of our opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less whenever we digivolve. But unfortunately, we don't have any red Tamers on this deck list. But the thing is, the skill of Gallantmon that we want here is whenever he attacks, we get to trash one of our opponent's security cards for every 10 cards under trash. So the Beelstarmon archetype is kind of getting popular at the moment, and they do have tons of trash cards because they are a purple deck. That's why Gallantmon can actually be a good finisher against those types of decks. Another thing is we really don't have to conventionally digivolve into our Gallantmon because of our ST7 Gilmon, wherein we can just warp digivolve into our Gallantmon just in case our opponent does have a level 6 on his field already. So Gallantmon does a really good job as your finisher for this deck list. Okay, we're now moving on to our level 7s. First, we have the 4 copies of Omnimon's Wart Defeat. So Omnimon's Wart Defeat here is preferably, we wish that he would be on our security pile because we really don't want an Omnimon's Wart Defeat on our hand. And of course, if we do get Omnimon's Wart Defeat onto our field without paying his memory cost because he gets security check, that's already a really, really good bonus for us because we get an additional body, as well as if Omnimon's Wart Defeat gets deleted, he has an on-deletion effect wherein we get to delete one of our opponent's Digimon. So Omnimon's Wart Defeat is not only good at offense, but as well as defense. Okay, next on our level 7 list, we have the 2 copies of Chaosmon Valder Arm from BTO4. So what he does is whenever we digivolve into our Valder Arm, we can use its skill twice, wherein one of our opponent's Digimon gets minus 7k DP. So that minus 7k DP, if used twice, would be minus 14. And as I've said before, there are like archetypes, for example, the Craniamon Blocker archetype, wherein we can't just use our hard removals like Gaia Force. So Chaosmon Valder Arm, if we digivolve him from a Magnadramon, does a really good job on just destroying those Craniamons. Another thing is, since we are actually using the minus 7k DP twice, we can target 2 Digimons of our opponent. So it's like a mini board wipe in a sense. If our opponent has like 2 level 5s or maybe a level 5 and a level 4 in his field, we can just delete them with Chaosmon Valder Arm. So now we're done with our Digimons, let's move on to our Tamers. So first we have the 3 copies of TK from BTO1. So what TK does is, he actually lets us peek what's in our security, so we can kinda expect what cards are we gonna get from our security checks. And secondly, we can get one of our cards from our security cards if they are kinda useless on the security pile. And then if it's a yellow card, we can recover 1. If it's not, we won't recover 1. But as I've said before, TK is just really good so that we can take a peek on our security pile so that we would know what to expect. Okay, next is the 2 copies of Easy Izumi from BTO3. No, sorry, BTO4. So what Easy does here is, first, on play, we get to reveal the top 3 cards of our deck, and then we can arrange them on any order that we want. So this is a really huge thing because we are recovering so much on this deck build. That's why we kind of want to know what's on the top of our deck. So if we play Easy Izumi and then suddenly we reveal maybe, for example, 1 Omnimon's War Defeat, then 2 Magnadramons, of course we would want the Omnimon's War Defeat at the top, and then maybe we can hard play a Magna Angemon so that we can recover the Omnimon's War Defeat. So Easy Izumi does a really good job on just arranging the top cards of our deck. Okay, now we're moving on to our option cards. We have a lot of option cards on this deck list because we are called a security control deck. First, we have the 3 copies of the new Reinforced Memory Boost from BTO6. So what this Reinforced Memory Boost does is, we get to reveal the top 2 cards of our deck, and then we can place 1 among them face down at the top of our security stack, and the remaining card onto our hands. So not only it cycles itself with another card, but as well as we can choose among those 2 cards that we get to reveal, which card would be recovered onto our security pile. Okay, moving on to our next option card, we have the 2 copies of Wyvern's Breath. So Wyvern's Breath, what it does is, whenever we play it, we can get one of our opponent's Digimon minus 15 KDP. So this is kind of important again with Craniumon decks, but as well as with the Omnimon Blitz, because we can't actually also Gaia Force Omnimon Blitz because it's just gonna remove his level 6 from his source, and then the deletion effect will get nulled. So Wyvern's Breath is a really good card because the minus DP effect can't be negated by Omnimon Blitz. Okay, next on our option card list, we have the 4 copies of Gaia Force. So as I've said before, we're gonna run a lot of red option cards here. So first is Gaia Force. Gaia Force is just straight up delete your opponent, no questions asked. It's the best removal for red. Okay, next on our option card list, we have the 4 copies of Atomic Blaster from the new ST7. So what Atomic Blaster here does is that we can delete any number of our opponent's Digimon whose total DP is 8k or less. So the thing here is, mostly you would use this as a 2-for-1 card because at the early parts of the game, your opponent is just building up his field with maybe tons of rookies or maybe a level 4 and a level 3 Digimon on his field. So Atomic Blaster would be a really great value whenever we just do a 2-for-1 on our opponent. So lastly on our option card list, we have the Ultimate Flare from BTO5. So what the Ultimate Flare does is, whenever we play it, we can Digivolve 3 one of our opponent's Digimon, and then we can delete all the rookies on the field. So most likely, the Digivolve 3 means your opponent's Digimon would be the Digivolve onto a rookie, so it's kind of like a hard removal. As well as a bonus, we can delete all of the other rookies on the field. So Ultimate Flare prevents those rookie rush strategies for one. Another thing is, if our opponent is again a Craniumon, we can just Digivolve them into an Ultimate Flare, then ultimately destroy the rookies. And as a bonus, if this gets security checked, we can activate the main effect. You can actually debate if you want to use the new black option card from BTO6. I forgot the name. It's the 7 cost 3 Musketeer option card for black, wherein you can delete all of the 7 cost or below Digimon. Yes, it's a better mass removal as an option card, but the thing is, it doesn't get if that card gets security check, you can't activate its main effect. Instead, you just put it onto your hand, and sometimes that security activation really saves the game for you. So I chose Ultimate Flare over that option card, but it's up to you if you wanna choose the 7 cost 3 Musketeer block option card over Ultimate Flare. Okay, so the playstyle of this deck list is that you want your opponent to attack you as much as possible because you are kind of relying on your security checks. But just in case your security pile doesn't really have any triggers, you can just recover and recover over and over again. So this is called a security check control deck because you are relying on your removals to be at your security pile as well as your cards like Omnimon's War Defeat and Geogreymons and Quadramons. And then maybe that would be enough to defeat your enemy because you get tons of value whenever your opponent attacks. You can play a free Digimon, and at the same time on your turn you can also play another Digimon. So yeah, most of the cards here would be hard played by you, so you would most probably be giving your enemies tons of memory most of the time. And that's it for today's video, guys. If you love the content or love the deck list, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I also have a Facebook page at SaberClient. And if you have any comments or suggestions regarding this security control deck, please do comment them down below on the comment section. And I guess that's it for today, guys. Till next time, peace out.